A tense situation arose during the Paliagoda Urban Council meeting today. This was because the opposition and ruling party councillors arrived for the Paliagoda Urban Council meeting wearing black bands.
The Paliagoda Urban Council meeting was presided by its chairman D. Nihal Pereira. Opposition and ruling party councillors wore black bands for the meeting today in protest against an alleged incident where the chairman of the Paliagoda Urban Council had used a vehicle belonging to the Urban Council to illegally transport a stock of metal to his house. Except for one councillor, the rest of the opposition and ruling party councillors left the council premises following the tense situation.
The police have loaded a stock of metal which was in the chairman's house. Now the stock of metal is with the police. However, we feel that the stock of metal has reduced. A stock of 30 or 40 was taken. Therefore, we are asking for the stock of metal which was taken to be accounted for and for an extensive investigation to be carried out into this robbery in order to punish the wrongdoers.
Letters can be presented as to the owner. These pipes were in the council premises for more than a year. I would like to know whether it was documented. There are no documents regarding it. If things are taken out or brought into the premises, the security guard should be informed and it should be documented.
The Paliagoda Urban Council is the most corrupt urban council. The urban council is operated according to the chairman's whims and fancies. We are not doing this with any political agenda. First and foremost, we request that a proper service be provided to the innocent poor people of Paliagoda.
A person by the name of Asanka was at the urban council yesterday. There were some pipes. He didn't take the pipes. He told me that it could be used for anything and for public work. I took the stock from the urban council to my house for public work. After I had taken the stock, they had recorded and even made an entry with the police. I told the police that this is not state property, nor is it the property of the urban council. I told them that it belonged to a person. I was given the stock for public work. I told all of this to the police. I am saying that if it is state property and someone can confirm that, then I am prepared to vacate my post.
However, police media spokesperson SP Ajit Rohan has said, based on the complaints lodged by 5 urban councillors, the stock of metal was taken into police custody.
Councillor Prema Jayantha Kasthiarachi has been admitted to the Colombo National Hospital following an incident which took place at the Colombo Municipal Council today. Director of the Emergency Services Unit at the hospital, Dr. Prasad Karyavasam, said that a councillor had been admitted to the hospital with an injury to a finger. Meanwhile, the Deputy Mayor of the CMC, Titus Pereira, said that Councillor Prema Jayantha Kasthiarachi injured himself as he attempted to knock on a table and there was a piece of glass on the table.
Opposition members in several local government institutions across the island carried out demonstrations against the rising cost of living today as well.
Opposition members arrived by foot for the monthly meeting of the Dambulla Pradesh Sabha. The opposition leader of the Dambulla Municipal Council also joined the march. A tense situation arose between the members of the opposition and ruling party when the opposition members entered the Dambulla Pradesh Sabha premises. The opposition members of the Mavatagama Pradesh Sabha also arrived in a protest march at the Pradesh Sabha premises from the Mavatagama town. A meeting of the Pradesh Sabha was to be held today. However, the ruling party members had concluded the meeting by the time the opposition members arrived at the Pradesh Sabha premises.
A peaceful demonstration was held. However, when we arrived at the Pradesh Sabha premises, they had postponed the meeting without paying heed to the people's problems. The meeting of the Mawatagama Pradesh Sabha for the month of February commenced at 10 a.m. The meeting was conducted because we had a quorum.
The opposition members of the Nicobaratiya Pradesh Sabha arrived in bullock carts at the Pradesh Sabha premises today. They were welcomed by the members of the ruling party in this manner.
We came in a cart today because the fuel price in this country has skyrocketed. We came in protest demanding a reduction in fuel prices. We condemn such low acts. The president saved this country, but today measures are being taken against our government in Geneva, Switzerland.
The government introduced a fuel surcharge on electricity bills with effect from the 16th of this month following the fuel price hike. With the implementation of this mechanism, several categories in electricity bills have been increased. Now, can the people bear this increase? Starting tonight, we will look into this aspect through a special segment, Electricity Shock.
At present, the Ceylon Electricity Board generates most of its power using thermal generators. 85% of power generation comes from thermal power plants and around 13% is from hydropower sources. With the fuel price hike, the cost of generation of electricity has increased significantly as the CEB depends more on thermal power. It is due to its dependence on thermal power that the Ceylon Electricity Board has continuously suffered losses. In order to minimize further losses following the latest fuel price hike, a fuel surcharge was introduced to the electricity bill. A fuel surcharge of 25% was introduced to electricity bills between 0 to 30 units, a fuel surcharge of 35% on bills between 31 to 60, and a fuel surcharge of 40% for bills over 60 units.
The charge for a person who uses 30 units would increase by 22 rupees and 50 cents. The monthly bill for the consumption of 6 units per month will increase by 80 rupees and 85 cents. The charge would increase by 182 rupees and 40 cents for those who use 90 units. Furthermore, the charge for 120 units will increase by 434 rupees, while the charge for 180 units will increase by 1010 rupees and 40 cents.
Furthermore, the government imposed a 15% fuel surcharge on the industries and hotel sectors. Tomorrow, we will look at the impact of high electricity prices on consumers, especially the industrial sector.
Up next is Crime Watch.
The body of a woman with stab wounds was discovered in a hotel room in Kolpiti. Police media spokesperson SP Ajit Rohana said the woman is a Sri Lankan national who had arrived in the island with her mother from Britain several weeks ago. She and another individual had been staying at the hotel since the 23rd of this month, but when the room was not open for several days, employees of the hotel had got suspicious and decided to inspect the room. Police said the employees had then come across the 48-year-old woman who had been killed. There had been stab wounds on the neck. No suspects have been identified as yet over the murder. Further investigations have been entrusted to the Colombo Crimes Division. Meanwhile, a body was discovered beside the Gull Oya Bridge in the Ampara Police Division today. The deceased has been identified as H.G. Tarangana Suresh, a 29-year-old father of two. The police said he was a resident of Ampara. Police also said 3 persons had been arrested on suspicion of involvement in the murder and they were currently being interrogated.
Yesterday, Action TV revealed the conflict which had arisen as a result of Sabaragamuwa Province Education Authorities deciding to violate the Sri Lanka Principal Service Constitution and Administrative Ethics and appoint a teacher who had not even completed his probation period as an acting principal of a school under their jurisdiction. Affecting the delivery of education, from time to time, confrontations would take place between senior teachers and the teacher who had been appointed acting principal of the Handurukanda Vidyalaya in Palmadulla, despite the fact that he had not even completed his probation. When considering the decision taken by the education authorities of the Sabaragamuwa province and the problems that have cropped up at the Malyadeva Girls' School in Kurunegala, it gives meaning to the saying that the flight of the wild duck leads the flock to fly and follow. Policemen had been deployed near the Malyadeva Girls' School this morning following a leaflet being distributed among parents stating that the School Development Committee, the Past Pupils Association and parents would be holding a demonstration opposite the school. The purpose of this demonstration was stated on the leaflet. The demonstration was to be held against the illegal decision taken by the Secretary of Education to disregard the Public Services Commission and attach an official as acting principal of the Malyadeva Girls' School. The official who arrived at the school in accordance with the appointment which came into effect on the 24th of this month was unable to commence duties for a few days. This was because there was no vacancy in the position to which she had been appointed. However, when the deputy principal, who had in accordance with administrative ethics taken over the duties of principal in January, took sick leave last Monday, the official illegally appointed by the education secretary forcefully took over the position. Incidentally, she is also much junior to the deputy principal who has been functioning as acting principal. These 2 persons and others who are more senior than they are were present for interviews that took place on the 28th of January to fill the vacancy of principal. The marks from these interviews have been submitted to the Public Services Commission by the Ministry of Education. Accordingly, the next step should be that the individual who scored highest in the interviews should be appointed as principal with the approval of the Public Services Commission. The appointment made by the Education Secretary on the 24th of February through this letter to cover the duties of principal until a principal is appointed is illegal. The School Development Committee, past pupils and parents who gathered to protest this decision were made to turn and leave in the face of intimidation. However, a group led by United People's Freedom Alliance councillor of the Kurunegala Municipal Council, who arrived near the school to support the illegally appointed official, faced no obstacles whatsoever. A new principal has been appointed by the letter from the Education Secretary with the approval of the Minister of Education, Bandula Gunawadana. We are here for the principal. In December 2010, at a meeting chaired by the President, a decision was arrived at to attach officials from the Sri Lanka Administrative Service to zonal education offices, considering weaknesses in the education sector which had been growing over time. Shouldn't this decision be implemented even now so that farcical decisions which affect the education of our children are not allowed to continue by the High Chair at Isrupaya? Secretary to the President, this one is over to you.